1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of Real Talk Youth Ministry with Josh and Caleb. We're your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I'm Caleb.
And we are so excited to be kicking off this podcast and bringing you conversations about youth ministry, faith, and a little bit of everything in between.
Listen, youth ministry is one of the most rewarding and also one of the most challenging callings and careers that there are. So we want this to be a place where we can equip, we can encourage, entertain, and just be real about youth ministry.
We're going to talk about real life youth ministry experiences. We're going to share tips, and we're going to dive into what it looks like to disciple the next generation. But also, we need to make a disclaimer, Caleb. Caleb and I, we do. Caleb and I are in our 20s. We are nowhere close to professionals when it comes to youth ministry. This podcast is just going to talk about things that work for us. What works in our youth ministries, what doesn't work in our youth ministries, our experiences that we've had, and pluses and negatives. And that's just what this podcast is. It's strictly our opinions, and we just wanted to make that known at the beginning of our podcast.
We might not have a lot of experience in this, but we are currently in the field. And so this is just kind of our way of sharing and encouraging some younger people like us. And maybe even some older people.
For sure.
And just people.
Just people.
Age is just a number, Josh.
Just people. Well, I mean, yeah, age is just a number. But moving on. First, we thought it would be a great idea to introduce ourselves. Talk about our backgrounds, where we're from, the journey of becoming a youth minister, and what got us here, and talk about where we're at currently.
That's right. So, Josh, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, what do you want to know?
I want to know everything about you.
This may take a while.
I'm just kidding. Make it short.
Okay. All right. So growing up, I am from Henderson, Tennessee. I was born and raised there. Only recently did I move away from there. I've been a part of the church my entire life, being a member at Henderson. My dad, back in 2007, was the youth minister, and just recently, within the past 2 years, has transitioned into family ministry. But I've been around youth ministry my entire life, probably 15 years, and I enjoyed everything about it. As a kid, I was fascinated with the thought of becoming a youth minister one day. Along the way, I had some difficult challenges. Challenges. Yeah, that's the word.
English, Josh.
Look, I didn't go to college. All right, I'm not the smart one here. You're the one that has the master's.
Not yet.
Well, getting close, but still. When I was a kid, wanted to be a youth minister, there's challenges that came along with it. Told that, hey, Josh, you're not good enough. You don't have a degree. Nobody's going to hire a youth minister without a degree or experiences, or just plain and simple not being married. Those were a lot of different discourages that I struggled with along the way. When I was 18 and graduated from Henderson's youth group, I decided, instead of enjoying my senior year in the youth group, the last summer, I left and went and did an internship at a Christian camp and proceeded to do that for 3 more years. And when it wasn't the summer, I volunteered with Henderson, whether it was driving the church bus, going on retreats, going on any type of trip, teaching, whatever I needed to do to help out and to be able to pursue my goal of eventually becoming a youth minister. And I felt finally that God was calling me to do it full time, and I applied at a church in Haleville, Alabama called 9th Avenue Church of Christ. Some people may know it, some people may not, and that's all right. But I am now the full-time youth minister here.
That's awesome. So so tell me, what are some of your favorite things about youth ministry?
Okay, that's a good question. I think my favorite thing about youth ministry is watching the kids grow. I really enjoy watching them grow and discovering themselves. For example, when this video comes out, it comes out on Friday. But this past Sunday, we did a youth devotional at my house, and we talked about everything that we regret, our past, you know, what we failed in, where we went wrong, things we struggle with, the sins and all that. So we went and got 20 big ceramic plates, and I had the kids write down their fears, things they're struggling with, things they want to let go, their sins, things that they wish they would have done differently, their failures, everything like that on this plate. Then I asked them to turn around on the back, and at the top of the plate, describe what your life looks like right now based off of this plate. And at the bottom of the plate, I asked them, I said, make it what you want it to look like. So we did that, and at the end, we shattered the plates. Basically, shattering the plates is them um, letting go of their past. And I really enjoyed seeing them grow in that moment and seeing the joy lifted off their shoulders and just discovering, hey, I'm a free person. I really enjoyed that side of youth ministry. Of course, I enjoyed the silly side as well. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but enough about me. What about you, Caleb? Where you come from? Where you at?
Yeah, so I grew up in Winchester, Tennessee. That is on the foothills of the Cumberland Plateau in southern Middle Tennessee. Beautiful area.
The Cumberland Plateau.
It was a lake town, and still is a lake town. So just absolutely beautiful area. Went there, was in church all of my life. Was a member of the Al Hollow Church of Christ. And then graduated high school in 2019, started at Freed Hardeman in that fall, and graduated in 2023. And so during my college years, I interned in Northern Kentucky, down here in West Tennessee, and then also in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And then my
Roll
senior
Tide.
don't even start that. That's terrible.
Just saying.
Then my senior year at Freed Hardeman, I was the campus ministry intern for that school year here at Henderson Church of Christ in Henderson, Tennessee. And that opportunity and that experience was very transformative. For me, it was a very beneficial experience for me. And the latter part of that experience was when your dad was making that transition out of full-time youth ministry and into full-time family ministry. And so it provided a natural way for me to move in. And so I've been here for 2 years as the full-time youth minister, 3 years in some form of ministry capacity at the Henderson Church of Christ in Henderson, Tennessee.
Very cool. Caleb, tell me a little bit about this. How is campus ministry different from youth ministry?
Well, it's different in scope, obviously. You're dealing with 2 different groups of people. Youth ministry, you're dealing with adolescents, and in college ministry, you're dealing with emerging adults. So your scope is different. The way that your people that you minister to, their brain develops differently. Obviously, adolescents' brains are developed at a different stage than emerging adults are. Emerging adults have different struggles. Holistically, they do than adolescents. Although I would argue that every stage of life deal with identity, purpose, and belonging. Those big 3 questions. But I think really and truly the difference between college ministry, campus ministry, and youth ministry is your scope of ministry, um, in those age groups that you are dealing with. Because ultimately, in youth ministry, you're dealing with teenagers, and in college ministry, you're dealing with adults.
Very
So,
true. Very true. So, Caleb, one last question.
okay.
You're on a stranded island, okay? You got to take 3 things with you. What are you taking?
I'm taking one, a machete. If you're on a
Do you
stranded
know
island,
how to use a machete?
yes, I know how to use a
I'm just
machete.
asking. Don't get so hostile on me, all right? I'm just asking.
Of course, I know. You just go around swinging it.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh my!
Don't chop off your leg. You're gonna do a karate chop and a kung fu a kicking, and then there goes your leg.
Okay. Wow. So I'm gonna bring a machete. I'm gonna bring probably a flare gun. Okay. Might need a flare gun. And for the last one, I'm going to bring a water purifying kit.
You would. You
gotta drink water.
You would.
You gotta drink.
That's fair.
So, what are you gonna take?
Well, first and foremost, I am gonna bring me a pan. Okay. And here's what the pan's gonna do. One, I could put it over the fire after I make a fire, and I could cook my food, and I could boil my water, right? So I don't need the purifying kit. Thank you very much. 2, it's going to act as a weapon. I can hit stuff with it, right? You can hit stuff with a pan and kill stuff. Just saying. So that's how I'm going to kill my stuff. Second item I'm going to bring is flint and steel,
Okay.
like a fire starting.
Yeah.
I'll bring a fire starting kit, and then thirdly, probably like an axe or a machete of some sort, so I can make a shelter.
Okay, so we're not far off.
No, we're not far off. I mean, I would not take the flare personally, because most of the time a flare gun only has one shot.
No, that's fair.
So
But,
I mean,
but the occasional airplane that does fly over.
true.
Have you ever
Or
seen
you can just
Castaway?
be really quick and go burn an SOS into the ground. Be prepared.
Like Scar, be prepared.
All right. On a different note,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on from that. So, Caleb, what's the whole point of this podcast?
So first, we wanted a place where people can connect with us about their love for youth ministry, right? So it's not just for youth ministers. It's not just for chaperones. It's not just for volunteers. It's for everybody, really. But all revolving around their love for youth ministry and us not be, I want to say filtered, but that's not the right word, but us to be real about youth ministry, because there are highs, there are lows, and how you navigate both of those are super important for the continuation of your ministry. And so everybody will feel those highs and lows, whether they are a chaperone, a kid in the youth group, a volunteer, a deacon, a minister. They're all going to feel it. And so creating a space where we can be honest and open is really what we are trying to do here. So we want to create a sense of community where we can share ideas, we can share struggles, we can encourage each other, and just be goofy also in the process.
We are definitely goofy. If there's one thing about Caleb and I, we're goofy.
We try.
We try to at least. But yeah, back to what Caleb was saying, like, this is also, the podcast is for real practical help as well. Yeah, he was talking about the chaperones, the volunteers, the deacons, even if you are a minister. This podcast is for all of us, because ultimately we're all working in the same ministry. At the end of the day, it's for the kids.
It's for the children.
For the children. These kids are the church of today. They're the kids that are going to be leading our church in the future as well. So what we're doing is we're leading them in our youth groups and showing them how to be involved, serving on the Lord's Supper table, doing a prayer, doing a scripture, leading song, leading out of Devo, stuff like that. And then eventually one day they'll be doing what Caleb and I are doing if
That's
they
right.
want to be a youth minister. And the kids that are pre-K through 5th grade before they get into the youth group at 6th grade, they are the church of tomorrow as well, and we have to teach them as well. And so we're all in this together. And that's what we really want this podcast to be about. How we're able to further youth ministry, how youth ministry is a really crucial part of the church. And yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. So, I mean, also we're going to talk about things like planning youth trips, discipleship strategies, working with
Let's not give too much information because we don't want to tease too much.
I mean, okay, but what about handling tough conversations with students?
We're giving too much information out.
Okay. It's fine. I guess they just have to stay tuned to it.
Yeah, just stay tuned and find out.
Should we give them a sneak peek of some of the episodes though, like the names? Maybe to get them plugged in?
Sure.
Okay.
So,
I'm glad you said that because I'm really excited.
Sure. So we've got season 1 is planned out and everything, and it's going to be awesome.
It's got to be solid.
It's going to get real.
Let me see what you did there because our name's really cool. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about equipping chaperones and volunteers. We're going to be talking about equipping our deacons also to help in that ministry. We're going to talk about VBS, faith and AI. One of my favorite episodes that I am super excited about is actually church camp, which we're going to invite you with us while we are at church camp. So that one is going to be a really fun episode.
Caleb, you're also forgetting about the Lads to Leaders episode. That's also going to be a live episode.
Oh, that's right. And coming up in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's coming up pretty quick. We're going to be there. If you see us at one of the booths, I don't know what booth we'll be at, but we're doing it live. It's going to be Real Talk Youth Ministry. It's going to be in real time, real talk with Josh and Caleb. So if you see us, I want you to come up.
We're going to be at the Nashville location.
For sure.
So come see us. It'll be fun.
To wrap this all up, also about coming what's next. But we are going to bring on some guest speakers, including other youth ministers, maybe some students here and there. Maybe when we're at camp, that will probably be a guest speaker kind of situation as well. But we're going to We're going to tackle topics like building strong relationships with our parents, managing burnout, and keeping students engaged in their faith.
And here's the thing. We want to hear from you, our listeners. So if you've got questions, topics you want us to cover, or a funny youth group story, send them our way. And we will read those and do our best to interact with those within some episodes.
For sure. All right. That wraps up our first episode of Real Talk Youth Ministry with Josh and Caleb. Make sure that you subscribe to us. Where can you find us, Caleb?
You can find us on YouTube via the Ministry League page. You can find us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. And so
please go join. Please go join. We're desperate.
And so we will be anywhere and everywhere.
And if you found this helpful, share it with another person. Share it with another youth leader, a chaperone, a volunteer, or maybe you have a teenager that's thinking about being a youth minister. Send this podcast his way. Maybe he'll be like, those are some pretty cool guys. What am I doing with my life? I'm just kidding. What am I doing with my life is not the thing that he's going to say. Maybe encourage him to pursue youth ministry even more. So, but once again, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time on Real Talk Youth Ministry.
Bye.
Toodles!